Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm talking about why the San Francisco 49ers will win Super Bowl 57. This is the newest installment of the series on the channel where I'm going over every single playoff contender this year and some of the reasons why I think that they could seriously win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. The 49ers obviously made the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago, and they made the NFC Championship game last year. So even though a lot of people underestimate them every year, especially because Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback and people underestimated him as well, I think that the 49ers are still very serious contenders for the Super Bowl this year, and I'm excited to see where they go this season. The first player I want to talk about is Nick Bosa. Brother of Joey Bosa. He's been in the league for 3 seasons, although he's only played 2 full seasons. He was drafted in 2020. He did not play. He was drafted in 2019. He did not play in 2020, and he played last year in 2021. 2-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2019. He played in a Super Bowl, and last year he had 15.5 sacks and led the league with 21 tackles for a loss. Bringing him to 37 tackles for loss in just 2 seasons and 25 total sacks. Great start to the career for Nick Bosa, and he's one of those cornerstone players on a defense where you not only get that pressure of the middle for the running backs, but you're also able to put that pressure on quarterbacks to allow your secondary to play better. The secondary on the 49ers has been one of the best in the league for the last few seasons, especially that year that they made the Super Bowl. They were arguably the best secondary in the league with how many interceptions they had and how good their defense was playing. And I can see and because of Nick Bosa and his leadership abilities as he's become a veteran player, hopefully this year he'll be able to stay healthy, keep his game strong, and this defense will be able to stay healthy this year, unlike the last few seasons where the health of their defense has declined. I also want to talk about some of the new weapons that they have. One of the major people I wanted to talk about is Danny Gray, who's a rookie this season, and he had a 4.3 40 time. The 49ers don't have a lot of super fast combine players, but Danny Gray will definitely add that speed and that deep threat to Trey Lance's game. I also want to talk about Brandon Ayuk, who had a great season last year. He's a young player as well. They have a lot of young weapons who need some time to develop, but overall, great weapons for the young Trey Lance to use. He's been in the league for 2 years. He had almost 1,600 yards in those 2 seasons and 10 touchdowns. And as the 49ers offense develops more, I think that he's going to become a great threat. I also want to talk about Elijah Mitchell, who is one of the best running backs in the league, arguably, in my opinion. Last year, he had to share carries with Raheem Mostert, and he had injuries for a lot of the season, but Elijah Mitchell had a great year last year for the number of games that he played. He had around 100 yards a game. He played 11 games. He had, I believe, 1,200 scrimmage yards and 6 touchdowns. So yeah, he averaged over 100 yards a game last year from scrimmage, and I think that having him healthy this season will give a lot of versatility to Trey Lance's game. It'll take pressure off of the quarterback, and it'll also give him that out in the flat if he needs him at any point in time for a catch out of the backfield or whatever else. George Kittle's another very versatile player on the 49ers who's had a lot of injury problems. Again, the 49ers' success depends on injuries. They've had so many injuries the last few seasons, George Kittle being one of them. He's been in and out of the roster the last few years, and he's arguably the best tight end in the league. Probably second or third best because Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce are both menaces, but I can see him arguably being the best without his injuries. George Kittle last season did get a Pro Bowl selection, and he was and had it not been for injuries, he probably would have had a first-team All-Pro by now. He's one of those tight ends he plays very similar to Gronk. He likes to have a lot of fun, but he also is a very serious red zone threat, and he's amazing at blocking. And he can also get you those chunk yardage as well. Last year he had 910 yards. He had 1,400 yards in 2018. He had 1,050 in 2019. He was injured in 2020, and he had over 900 last year. George Kittle is a once-in-a-generation player, and I'm very excited to see him hopefully healthy for all of next year. Now, a lot of what I've been talking about has been revolving around Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo obviously is no longer the quarterback of the 49ers. Trey Lance is now the quarterback, and I think that having played under Jimmy Garoppolo for a season is going to be a great addition to Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo was a backup for Tom Brady, and that allowed him to bring what he learned from Tom Brady into his game, and now Trey Lance has been a backup of Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been taught by Kyle Shanahan, who also played under Tom Brady, and I think that with the help of Garoppolo and Shanahan, Lance is going to grow into a phenomenal player. Players usually play best in their second season, and although Trey Lance didn't play much last year, his sophomore season, I can see him doing extremely well with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and all of the running backs and all of the amazing talents that he has available to him. That being said, I think Deebo Samuel is one of the most important players to the 49ers this season coming up. Last year, he was arguably the most versatile weapon in the league. He was a wide receiver who had almost 400 rushing yards and a bunch of rushing touchdowns. Deebo Samuel had the best scrimmage stats for a wide receiver, although he was down the list quite a bit on the touchdowns and the yardage lists. He had 365 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns, bringing him to around 1,800 scrimmage yards and 14 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel can get you whatever you want whenever you want it. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball in the flat, he can go deep, he can do anything. And I think that the versatility of Deebo Samuel makes him a very scary player to play against, and I think that is a crucial aspect to why the 49ers would be a serious playoff contender. He obviously was injured for a lot of 2020, much like the rest of the team. In the playoffs in 2019 and in 2021, he hasn't had the most yards a game, but he has been a crucial impact. He has been a crucial impact player. He has over 500 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns in just 6 games, averaging almost 90 yards a game. And I can see Deebo Samuel being a key factor in the 49ers Super Bowl run if they do have one. I also want to talk about some more defensive players around Nick Bosa. Basically, I'm talking about every single player on the 49ers this year. The video's getting close to the end, but I'm going to go quick. Charvarius Ward, Fred Warner, and Samson and Bacum have all been in Super Bowls before. And I think that this experienced defense is going to be a formidable opponent in the playoffs. If you have an experienced defense with all of their playoff experience, the Rams, Chiefs, 49ers, everyone on the 49ers that's been through the playoffs the last few seasons, made it to a Super Bowl, multiple NFC, AFC Championship appearances. This is going to be an experienced, tough, dominant defense in the playoffs, and I'm excited to see what they can do. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.